Hello and welcome back. For this song analysis video, I decided to stay with the game Undertale because there are so many great songs in that game. So today we're going to be looking at Megalovania. So the way that I do these song analysis videos is I break them down into three sections: context, musical style, and why it's great, why I think it's great. So before we do anything else, let's get into the context of the song Megalovania. Sans is a beloved character in the Undertale universe and with this game. Many people know who Sans is, whether they've played the game or not. Throughout most of the game, Sans is very chill, laid back, and kind of lazy. I mean, the dude wears slippers around all the time. Then later in the game, when you were playing the genocide run, we'll call it, you meet him in a corridor, and it's really cool. The framing of this scene is really cool. There's a bunch of silhouettes, your silhouette and his silhouette, as well as some foreground pillars and stuff like that. It's a very nicely set up scene, and you come together and have a little bit of a talk before you get to the meat of this here. Sans at this point recognizes that you, the player, are evil. What you've been doing is really bad, but still holds out hope that maybe, just maybe, Sans could change your mind. There's a little bit of dialogue. Sans quickly realizes that's not going to happen. There's only one way out of this confrontation, and that is to fight. When the battle begins, Sans goes immediately to these really crazy, powerful attacks. It is instant. And very quickly, the player realizes that, wait, Sans dodges too. This is not just a regular old boss fight. This is a big deal. Then, as the battle progresses, the song is already chaotic, and we'll get more into that here shortly, but then the actual visual of it and the music becomes sporadic. It starts to cut in and out along with the screen as the battle progresses. So not only does this battle go from 0 to 100 real quick, it starts to cut out and starts doing wacky things. So the player realizes, I think this is kind of how Sans is feeling at the moment, where he is laid back, he is chill. You don't expect this from him. He's very passionate about this, and you feel it immediately. And this leads us into the musical style. Immediately, you recognize the song as a 4/4. What does that mean? That is 4 quarter notes, right? So this is a very, very, very straight beat. A lot of people recognize this beat. This is a very driving beat for most songs. The rhythm almost feels industrial with this song. So it's very there's a lot of repetition. It almost feels like it's machine made. It's very, very, very specific and calculated and driving. And what makes this so much more jarring is that the initial start of the song is that the melody, right? The melody that everybody knows. In this driving industrial beat does not match Sans's personality up until this point. He's not really an intense character thus far. And now you get to see who Sans really is underneath it all, under that lazy facade that he's got going on. This beat, this rhythm, this industrial rhythm goes so hard, very much like Sans goes hard in this battle. This battle is very, very difficult. But that 4/4 industrial straight rhythm, although it seems jarring at first and it's not who Sans is at all, there are little things in it that indicate this is definitely Sans. This is how he feels. For instance, pay attention to the hi-hat. So the kick and the snare, the kick is literally the kick, the bass drum. The snare is that pop that you get. The kick and the snare are driving forward. But the hi-hat, which is the cymbal used the most with the kick and the snare, that hi-hat has a very weird, complex, it's deceptively complex, almost syncopated feel to it. It does not necessarily match the driving of the kick and the snare. That's Sans. It's showing this is still the same character, but now intense. Also, notice that all of these other sounds, all of this other stuff going on, just becomes immediately intense, chaotic. It is driving. But the melody still feels smooth. It still feels fluid up on top of all of the rest of the music. And again, this is Sans' voice, not his actual voice, but this is his identifier that this is how he's feeling. This is his battle theme. This is his song. Now, the melody is very catchy. It's very recognizable. I know people who have never played Undertale that know this song. Okay. My son knew this song before he even knew what Undertale was. And that wasn't through me. He just heard it somewhere on the interwebs because that's always a good thing. The melody is really cool in this song because it's still very energetic. It has a chaotic feel like the rest of the song, but it is not. It is very smooth. It is very specific. It is very on purpose. And everything else is driving, and that melody just kind of floats above it all. And speaking of that melody, the way that this song technically begins and ends, the technical part of it for a video game soundtrack, is so well done. It starts with that melody just by itself, goes through all the dynamics of the song, the ups and the downs, the louds, the softs, the changing of the beat itself, and then it ends with all of the other instruments stopping, and all you have is the melody again, so that the composer could just loop it right back around, so that battle music feels like it never stops. So that's the musical style. You kind of probably already guessed why I think it's great, but let's get into that, why I think this song is great. So why is this song great? And I would rank it among the top songs in this already stellar soundtrack. Much like every other song in this game, I feel like this accurately represents Sans and Sans's emotions and feelings going into this battle, making the battle to the player more important as well. Sans has stood by and watched you, the player, do these awful things throughout the genocide run when playing the game, and has still held out hope. And finally, Sans has hit his limit. And now we get to see what he's actually made of. And boy, is it intense. I also like, too, that his battle does not build up, it just explodes. The only buildup you have is the dialogue before the battle when he's basically saying, like, hey, this is your last chance. Please don't come any further. You come further. And then the battle just goes. It's so cool. And until he starts to sweat a little in the middle of the battle and starts being sporadic because he's getting a little desperate, for the most part, Sans still keeps his cool. So still incredibly intense, but like has the great poker face of just like, nah, you thought you could do that. Well, now it's turning around on you. And like this witty banter that he's got towards you. It's so crazy that Sans keeps his cool even while being intense. And then the final cherry on top is the symphonic sounds really lift this battle up as being important. Okay. This is a big deal of a moment moving forward. You have made your decision and now you have to live with it moving forward. So that is the song analysis for Megalovania. This is a fan favorite and for very good reason. I love this song. But tell me, how do you like this song? Maybe there are other songs on this soundtrack that you like. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and more importantly, comment below. Tell me what you think. Am I off my rocker? Am I stupid? Or maybe I'm right and you're like, yeah, I agree with you. Let me know. And maybe there are other songs that you should tell me to go check out so I can go analyze those songs as well. Either way, I appreciate you. And until next time, Bye.